there's that process that we call the red pill awakening, where you recognize all this corruption, and then you want to say something about it. You want to do something about it. You want to become an activist, whether it's like a keyboard warrior, or you're out in the street and you're doing whatever it is. However you're doing it, you're being an activist and you're trying to wake people up and look at all this corruption, look at these bad guys and all this stuff. And I think that's like an immune response in the body politic. I think that's important. That's an important stage. But you can't just be there forever. And so the next level is what I'm talking about here. The next level is when you recognize, oh, wait a minute, the reason why we even have all this integrated evil is because we all have a shadow, and we're all projecting and displacing our own shadow into the collective, just little bits at a time, and then that adds up to what we have. And so we're all responsible for it. In the same way that you have a pandemic, you have a virus. It's like a great metaphor. The whole pandemic thing that came through was really a metaphor for the collective shadow. And so when you have an individual who's sick, and then you get a bunch of individuals who are sick, you put them all together, you get one of these pandemics. But if people will start to heal themselves, then they go out there and they actually block the spread of the pandemic. And so so it's like once you get to the level where you recognize that everybody has their own darkness, they have their own evil, they have their own, you may not call it evil, you may call it a shadow, but it becomes evil when it turns into behavior. And then when it becomes extreme, if it's light, if it's just barely, somebody steals a candy bar at the corner store, we don't necessarily call that evil. But you just take it a couple steps more, and it is. And so when you recognize that we all have a shadow, we all have this dark caustic material in us, and it's our responsibility to work it through and to metabolize it and become aware of it, then you move into another stage, a whole other stage of this work, a whole stage of lifestyle, a whole stage of responsibility, a stage of consciousness, a stage of maturation. When you say, okay, rather than focusing so much on the outside world, I'm going to focus on the equivalent to what is evil out there. There's an equivalent to that in me. And that's what I'm going to be working on in myself and in my relationships.